hGlobal TV subscribe.
Global TV, tapping in. Global community, what's the deal? What we own? Today, we going on this journey. I'm about to present y'all with the current news, non-biased media, giving you some esoteric knowledge and giving you the rewrite of history that set of lies that was agreed upon. We gonna get rid of that indoctrination that they tried to give us our whole entire life, and we gonna go down a path of knowledge on our own. Remember, entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Let's get to it. Globes in the chat. Bang that.
Freezing rain or sleet in the forecast. Do not try to drive on it. I am bringing this up because as I record this, parts of the country that do not normally get ice are about to get a bunch of it. So these are people who are not used to this. And every time this happens, we get the same result. There are almost certainly people who are not going to survive this storm because they tried to drive on it. But also there are people out there who are from colder climates saying, well, yeah, you've just got to be really careful. You know, you have to drive slowly and give yourself plenty of time to stop. No, you're thinking of snow. On ice, where it's just freezing rain forming black ice, your brakes and steering wheel do nothing. Listen to me, I grew up in the Midwest. I have lived through floods and tornadoes. I once had a windstorm that destroyed half my town, and nothing scares me like an ice storm. Mainly because nobody knows how to deal with it. Nobody knows how to drive on it. There is no infrastructure designed to hold up to this. Snow can at least be fun. This you can't even walk on. Ask anybody who works in an emergency room what it's like after an ice storm. How many broken arms they get from just people trying to walk across a parking lot. And there's kind of a running joke where people in the South kind of freak out every time they get a little bit of snow. They run and load up on groceries. If you're talking about snow, I agree. If you're talking about ice, they're not afraid enough.
So news is spreading fast that there is supposed to be a major storm in the US within the next few days. The South is supposed to get hit heavy. The middle of the US is supposed to get heavy. The North is supposed to be extremely cold. And all I could think about is what just happened in Russia with their snowstorm. If you haven't heard, Russia just got hit with the worst snowstorm that they've had in decades. Look at this snow. It is towering over their buildings over there. Many of the citizens there have been trying to shovel themselves and their cars out of their areas for days. And when I see this, all I can think is that I hope that it doesn't get that bad with the storm here.
So we all know cloud seeding has been going on a long time, and it looks like they have been overdoing it. Hopefully everybody make it through these storms. We got global community members from all over the nation and the globe. So y'all stay smart, stay dangerous, and stay vigilant. Be prepared.
About this father caught in his daughter's bedroom. It's so scary. In fact, it was featured on the Discovery Channel. I don't know what it is about. They always seem to bring in some childlike element to hauntings, which is the most terrifying of all, especially as a parent. When it's spiritual things you're dealing with, there's no tangible object you can put your hands on to protect your family. But we do have the Word of God. This guy started experiencing a lot of terrifying things, poltergeist activity in his house. He was freaking out, he was running out of his house, but he did record on his phone, and he captured something absolutely terrifying. Check this out.
For the fifth time I had watched the video, I noticed something in the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me.
During the Joplin tornado, so many people claim to have seen strange figures in the storm that it caught the attention of filmmakers. In the days that followed the devastation from the EF5 tornado tearing through Joplin, Missouri, stories began to emerge of tall beings shielding victims from debris with their wings. And while yes, many of the witnesses were children, they all described seeing the same thing. Human-like beings with large wings compared to butterflies, reportedly shielding people from debris, guiding them to safety, or calming them as the tornado passed overhead. One child said that a winged woman stood between him and the storm. Another claimed that a man with butterfly wings led him out of a destroyed building. And one of the stories comes from a mother and her young daughter who were caught in the storm. As the mother saw a car that was about to collide with them, she used her body to shield her daughter and braced for impact, except it never came. Her daughter then asked, weren't they pretty? Clarifying that she was referring to the butterfly people that had saved them. These accounts all came independently predominantly from people who had never spoken to one another, and many were recorded shortly after the event before the stories began to spread publicly. The sheer number of similar descriptions drew the attention of filmmakers who were on a mission to uncover the reason behind these so-called butterfly people. Were these experiences the result of shared trauma, or was something more mysterious happening here? While psychologists pointed to the mind's response to extreme stress and a child's tendency to fabricate things in order to process traumatic events, others believed the encounters were spiritual in nature, like angels interpreted through a child's imagination.
Archaeologists made a discovery in Antarctica that shocked everyone. Look at what they found. A group of researchers managed to enter one of the most isolated regions on Earth, crossing deep into the Antarctic ice. What they documented there left many people speechless. In the middle of the frozen wasteland, surrounded by endless white, they came across shapes in the ice that looked disturbingly familiar, massive forms resembling frozen dinosaurs, preserved as if time itself had stopped. The conditions were extreme. Their beards were completely covered in ice, their tents buried in snow, and the wind never stopped howling. Yet what disturbed them most wasn't the cold, it was the feeling that this place was hiding something. Antarctica has always been a land of secrets, and many believe there are areas we're not meant to explore. This video, allegedly leaked, shows moments from that expedition. Some say it's proof that Antarctica holds remnants of a forgotten past. Others believe these discoveries were never supposed to reach the public. Governments restrict access to this continent for a reason, and discoveries like this only raise more questions. So what do you think? Is this real evidence of something ancient hidden beneath the ice, or just another mystery meant to distract us?
Everybody, we got to make sure we have discernment as always. Facts are stranger than fiction, but this looks to be fiction more than facts.
Kingdom doesn't respond. And what happens? There's fruit, multiplication. Different years, but same soil quality. Why? Because fruitfulness is not about effort. It's about alignment. Here's a revelation most people miss. Jesus is teaching that manifestation is automatic once identity is prepared. The kingdom doesn't respond to begging. It responds to capacity. Your life isn't responding to what you want. It's responding to what you are conditioned to receive. That's why Jesus says, he who has, more will be given. It's not favoritism. It's resonance. Every other parable answers one question. What happens when the word lands in prepared identity? So if you skip this parable, you misinterpret delay, you spiritualize resistance, you blame God instead of upgrading ground. See, Jesus didn't say ask for more seed. He said prepare the soil. So here's the real question. What truth has God already released that your identity hasn't yet given permission to grow? Because when the ground changes, fruit doesn't struggle. It just happens. If this shifted something in you, follow for the rest of this parable series. Comment good ground if you're ready to recondition your inner soul. And share this with someone who keeps praying, but fruit hasn't shown up yet. The next episode breaks down why inner contradiction delays harvest, and most believers don't realize they're doing it.
Only members were allowed to attend. They had a secret emblem.
Really?
The pentagram.
What? Where did he go? It's just a cartoon. That's all that it is. A cartoon. A cartoon that we used to love and enjoy. They were just showing shapes. Circles, rectangles, squares, triangles, things like that. Stars. It didn't mean anything, guys. They put a star in their hand. You know how many people have star tattoos, star rings? Come on now. Stop playing with me, son. It's for your same purpose. I don't know what was going on in that cartoon, but something seems to be going on. Shut up! I told you. Nothing at all, because I didn't tell you anything. What I did tell you is that we just played around here, guys. That was one of my favorite cartoons, if you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game here, guys. And I showed you, and I told you nothing at all. Shut up! But I tell you one thing. If I ever see a cartoon like that, and I see them showing all types of shapes and signals and signs, nothing new to me.
For a moment that we stop arguing about politics, left and right, good guy, bad guy, and we ask a different question. What if the world was really ran by a small parasitic elite, not openly, not democratically, but quietly, patiently, over thousands of years? Not monsters in capes, you know, not villains from a movie, but people who understand power, psychology, symbols, and time. What if, you know, all the secret knowledge, the rituals, the hierarchies, the control systems, they weren't about hiding everything. They were about revealing just enough, right? Because when you think about it, throughout history, elites don't just hide, they signal, right? They leave symbols, they leave gestures, architecture, hand signs, secret language right in plain sight. And what if the reason that they do that is because that they believe it protects them? You know, there's an old idea that you see across occult belief systems and ancient religions about karmic retribution, right? That if you tell people who you are, if you show them who you really serve, even if the people don't understand it, then the responsibility shifts. You know, in their mind, they deceive you. They didn't just hide it, but they revealed themselves and you just didn't notice. That's how they believe that they avoid judgment, and they, you know, believe that they can avoid karmic retribution if they tell you truth in plain sight. You know, they think that if we show you the symbols, if we speak to you in our language and then you agree with your silence, and then suddenly the hand signs aren't just random, right? The rituals aren't just tradition. They're disclosures, not to the masses, but to the subconscious. And that's why everything is hidden in plain sight, because secrecy isn't about hiding everything. Secrecy is about hiding the meaning. So listen, maybe the real trick isn't that people are blind. It's that we have been trained to laugh at pattern recognition and to not see the symbolism, right? And to dismiss questions. And it's because a system that depends on your ignorance, it doesn't need to silence you. It just needs you to stop looking. But obviously, for the sensory reasons, this was all just for entertainment, beautiful people. Clearly, this isn't a secret hand symbolism that has been going for thousands of years. And I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
So obviously, it's a big club, and we're not in it. We all know that, the 99% versus the 1%. But the symbolism will be their downfall. We're not as idiotic as they thought.
Last month, the U.S. government declassified over 4,000 documents about Amelia Earhart's disappearance. You'd think after 88 years, we'd finally get answers. We didn't. The release was a complete dud. But while everyone focused on those files, there was another source sitting in plain sight. Take a look at this. When the New York Times covered the declassification, they quoted Richard Gillespie from the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, otherwise known as TIGER. Quote, "A lot of the really good stuff on Earhart is not in the National Archives. We have found it in other places and we put it up on our website." End quote. So I took a look. Tens of thousands of pages, original radio logs from the USS Itasca, Navy search reports from 1937, forensic analysis, documents publicly accessible for years. And when you read the primary sources, not the headlines, but the actual evidence, what emerges isn't a mystery. It's a tragedy, a preventable one, because here's what actually happened. On July 2nd, 1937, the USS Itasca lost contact with Amelia Earhart at 8:43 a.m. That's the official story. But other radio stations, hundreds of miles away, kept hearing transmissions for days. Transmissions that suggest she didn't crash into the ocean at all. So I think it's time to talk about what the radio evidence actually tells us.
So exploding trees are expected this weekend in the Midwest. This is going to be awesome because you're going to just be able to go out for a walk. And it was not on my bingo card, but they're reporting that the tree sap expands and contracts with the freezing as well as the bark. So the outside bark, it expands and contracts rapidly, and the inside of the tree expands and contracts rapidly. So it kind of has this compression, almost like, you know, pop cans when you freeze them and they explode in the freezer. So be careful if you're going outside anywhere in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, probably even parts of Nebraska, because it's going to be hazardous. And there's some wild pictures out there of exploding trees. Now, are they all going to explode? No. Are they all going to even make a boom? No. They could make a boom sound that could make it seem like it's going to explode, but it doesn't do anything. It just makes the sound. Just like frozen earth cracks, earth booms. You might hear those as well. Just the expanding and contracting on the soil. Was this on your bingo card? Put it in the comments.
I happen to be on this earth a little bit of time, and I have never, ever heard of sap freezing and trees exploding. Let me know if y'all familiar with that, and I'm
Comment section. Lockdown Universe up. Peace.
When I reverse aging in this new history,
Wait, what?
are we going to see it?
I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very small problem. Like you can. I think when we figure out what causes aging, I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. No, it's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, with some pretty much age at the same rate. I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock, that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body.
We know who he is, or used to be.
There is some benefit to the way. It's like there's a reason why we don't actually have a longer lifespan.
It's a funny hand symbol he keeps doing, isn't it?
If people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place.
Very strange that they should talk about aging, because we know what they know. And if you know, then you know that Elon Musk has lived for a lot longer than just Elon Musk. Well, what do you mean, Jack, that Elon Musk has lived longer than Elon Musk? Well, have you heard of Werner von Braun, the director to the ISS that took the first mission to the moon, the biggest accomplishment in human history? He wrote a book many years before Elon Musk was born of a futuristic people who would colonize Mars, and they would be led by someone called Elon. And honestly, if you need any more evidence that he is him, then go and check out Tyler Hanson, Fittest Flat Earther, because he puts a very, very good constructive case together that these are playing the same parts. And if you haven't looked into this before, then just go and watch Monsters Inc. or Toy Story, because they tell you in the movies. And obviously this hand symbol has nothing to do with ancient symbolism and the control and manipulation of humanity. This was all just for entertainment, as always. Beautiful
kind of creature behind a tree in the jungle. Take a look. What is that thing? That's a monster. That's some kind of monster, and it's coming. It's coming, baby. What the hell was that? Strange new shenanigans every day, Booskies. Shabadoo.
This woman learned the hard way that you need to follow the rules of Appalachia. Sometimes curiosity can get the best of us. We go sticking our nose in places it doesn't belong, and we do things we know we shouldn't. Close your curtains. Don't answer when something calls your name out in the forest. And if you hear something outside your door late at night, it's best to just leave it be. When this lady went to investigate a strange noise, she found something on her porch, and then she heard what left it there. Don't be this lady. Check this out. Let me know what you think.
I just heard some really strange noises outside, so I'm just going to take a quick look. I live in Appalachia, so this is probably not a great idea. What is that? I don't even know. I guess I'll just take a quick look.
Where did that phone go?
There's a skull there? Oh my God.
Remember, facts is always going to be stranger than fiction. We're going to keep going down these rabbit holes. Let me know how y'all feel about it. I'm going to keep bringing y'all the current news, non-biased, that the mainstream media will not show you. We're going to keep gaining this knowledge as a collective and bringing it in as a global community. Remember, all money ain't good money. Slow motion better than no motion. Make sure you pop out tonight, the Intellectual Street Thoughts at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. And Iamqueheff, $ for that.
Cash Global TV subscribe.